Hey guys, welcome back. So hopefully you can hear me okay, because as you can see, I've got a change of scenery. I actually wanted to catch the sunset outside today because it has been a beautiful day in Seattle and I refuse to go back inside until it is completely dark out. So anyway, what better way to kind of share some good news but in a good setting. So as you can tell from the title of this video, I am so excited to announce that I am co-hosting a Murder, She Wrote readathon. Now, I'm going to venture a guess that if you're watching this, you are familiar with my channel, familiar with my brand, so to speak. So this should come as absolutely no surprise that I am finally hosting anything related to Murder, She Wrote. I absolutely adore the series. I love the books, obviously. I have a whole video talking about my Murder, She Wrote collection, and I thought it was high time to actually have a readathon to share with you all the Murder, She Wrote goodness. There is a plane going by now. Can you hear it? Maybe. Let's wait for it to go by. Thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you, SeaTac Airport. So let's talk about all of the details, shall we? So that this particular readathon will be happening June 19th through the 25th. So it's going to be a full week for you all to dive into everything Jessica Fletcher. Now, like I mentioned, I am a co-host. So my other hosts are the lovely Tiff from Beach Bum Bookworm. I absolutely adore her channel. If you love cozies as much as I do, definitely check it out because she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to cozy mysteries. And we also have Storm over at Stormy Reads. I will link both of their info below, but Storm also reads cozies, but her reading tastes run the gamut, which I totally appreciate because, you know, what's the fun in sticking with one genre when you're in the mood for something else? Okay, so now is your chance to finally try a Murder, She Wrote book if you have been curious, if you have been wondering, wanting to know what all the hype is about. You hear me talk about them all the time. Now is your chance to participate. So that said, to kind of help motivate and inspire you, give you some suggestions, I did make a bingo board with prompts for you to follow. Obviously, you don't have to follow. You can be as lax as you want. But for those of you who want a little bit of a challenge or need some guidance, I've got you covered. Let's go ahead and talk about what those are. But before we do, I guess I should tell you where you can find the books. Obviously, you can buy them in paperback at your local bookstores, but because it's such a long-standing series, you can find it at your library, on Libby, depending on what library you have connected to it. I know that there are some on Scribd if you have an account. They are also available on Amazon. You can pick them up in paperback, and they are available on Audible. I think that's it, and I'm sure other used bookstores, but those are places that you can grab yourself some books if you are looking for some. Let's go ahead and talk about the different prompts on the bingo board. I'll walk you guys through, give you some suggestions, so that way if you need a little bit of help, I've got you covered. So first we've got a cover that takes place in the US, or I guess I should say title, excuse me. We've got a bunch of those. So these that I'm about to name aren't the only ones, but again, to give you some idea, we've got Slaying in Savannah, obviously Savannah, Georgia. We've got Nashville Noir. We've got Maine Mutiny. So you've got multiple to choose from. Next, we have a cover with a weapon on it, or weapon in the title. And fun fact, the first few books in the series actually feature both weapon and a drink, which is the next prompt, and I'll get to in just a second. So we've got rum and raisins. Oh my gosh, ice cream, right? We've got rum and razors, we've got gin and daggers, we've got brandy and bullets, so obviously bullets, daggers, there are more again. So next up we've got titles / covers with drinks on them, and again, like I said, the first few books in the series actually feature a combo, so if you wanted to stack up prompts, these are the perfect ones to do it, and you'll be kind of reading the first books in the series. Though, major disclaimer here, none of these books have to be read in order, so pick whatever books you want. You can dive in wherever you want. But anyway, so we've got, like I said, brandy and bullets, margaritas and murder, coffee, tea, or murder, which is a favorite of mine. And like I said, pick any ones that you want. These are just some suggestions. So next on our cute little bingo board that, by the way, I'm super proud of myself. Can I just give myself a pat on the back, because I made this in Canva, and I know all of the girlies are using Canva. I am old school and I use Photoshop, and so all of these cute little graphics, I'm like, let me try my hand at them, and this is what I made. So if you love it, let me know. If you hate it, don't let me know. Tell me that you love it. Anyway, okay, so next up, a title or a cover that takes place in Cabot Cove, which I gotta say, those are my favorite just because I'm in Cabot Cove and I love being there. So anytime I get to visit in one of the stories, love it. So for that one, we do have Maine Mutiny. Again, Maine, because of obviously where Cabot Cove is located. Excuse me, there are a ton of them out there. I'm totally blanking out if I'm being honest, but do a little bit of Googling and I'm sure you can find some other suggestions. Now, the next one, which is right smack dab in the middle of our bingo board, is favorite episode. Now, this is not obviously related to the books, but rather the show. I think, you know, if you really want to get into the spirit of things, watching at least one episode would really be fun. Again, totally up to you. You don't have to do that. But I'm actually going to come back around to this one after I finish everything else, because I do have a couple of episodes that I want to talk about. And I'll also tell you where you can watch the show if that's something that you're into. Okay, so next one. A title that takes place internationally. These, of course, run the gamut as well, because our girl JB, she is jet setting all the time, whether it's for a book press release or just taking a vacation. She is out and about, so you have your pick of multiple locations. For example, we've got the Highland Fling murders, which take place in Scotland, obviously. We've got Murder in Moscow. I'm sure you can guess, you know. And again, a bunch of different places. I believe the Queen's Jewels also takes place overseas in England. This plane that is flying over is particularly loud. Guys, this is like the worst video that I've done for interruptions. I am so sorry, but it's worth it. I know you can't see from where the camera is, but the sunset is amazing. And I can see the mountains and I can see the lake. So I'm happy. My audio is not. Please forgive me. Okay, so this next one I think is super fun. And I'm actually not going to give you any recommendations for this because I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. So this next one is a cover with a hidden skull. So if you didn't know, there are more often than not little tiny skulls, like literally skull and crossbones kind of skulls, integrated into the patterns of many of the book covers. I will not tell you specifically which ones, but they're really obvious. So I urge you to kind of go on a little Where's Waldo hunt and find them for yourself. That way you can feel like you've accomplished something and you can really get a kick out of it, because once you see it, you can't unsee it, and you're going to be looking for them in all of the books, which, like I said, I believe they're in most of the books, not all, but most. So you should be good on your hunt. Okay, next up we have a title that is a place that you have been to before. Obviously, this can be internationally or local. That's the beauty of this one, because again, you can kind of stack prompts. So for this one, you know, for me, obviously I've been to New York, so Madison Avenue Shoot might be one that I choose. Aloha Betrayed takes place in Hawaii. I've read that already, but again, just to kind of give you some examples of books that you could read. And last up, we have your favorite cover, which, to be honest, I could give you suggestions, but I'm biased and I'm actually still trying to figure out which covers are my favorite. But go on to good old Mr. Google or Wikipedia and look up the covers, and whichever one stands out could be your favorite, and go with that one. Or you can shoehorn and say that something's your favorite just so that you can stack prompts, again, to have one book cover multiple tiles. Do you, whatever you want to do. Okay, so let's circle back around to the TV portion, which is that center bingo tile about your favorite episode, because I think it would be super fun to watch an episode if you've never seen it. Even if you have seen it, you know, like, hey, I used to watch this with my grandma. It's been like 10 years, you know, whatever. Now is a perfect time to revisit it. I think they're so wholesome and just comforting and cozy, and the perfect day, or the perfect way to end the day. So, if you want to go all out and watch a show in tandem, which I will be because I already watch this show on like a nearly nightly basis, let me tell you where you can find them. So you can find all of the episodes on Peacock if you have a subscription to the app, on Amazon Prime, again, if you have a subscription. I know that they come on TV nightly depending on the channels or your cable provider. So for sure, it comes on the Hallmark channel, maybe Hallmark Movies and Mysteries and the Hallmark channel. Again, kind of do a little bit of digging there. And I also know that they come on the Cozy TV channel, which is something that if you have DirecTV, you should get. So there are a couple of places that you can watch it. You could probably even pirate it off of YouTube. I won't judge. I won't stop you. If you really want to watch an episode, I'm sure you can find a way. Now, let's talk about my favorite episodes. For this to be an announcement video, it's getting real chatty. I will wrap it up, I promise. But let me tell you a couple of my favorite episodes. I've clearly got more than 2, but for the sake of brevity, we're going to narrow it down to just 2. So my first one is The Corpse That Flew First Class. That is season 3, episode 9. This entire episode takes place on a plane. Jessica Fletcher is flying with some friends. There is a robbery that takes place, but they didn't actually see the robbery happen. What I mean by that is a woman has some jewelry stolen, and there is also a murder that takes place. They're trying to solve both of these crimes in tandem and do it all before the plane lands, essentially. And I love that because the stakes are so high, because obviously you've got that deadline before they land, and there's just so many characters. It's kind of like a locked room mystery. I absolutely love it. And the next one is called Bite the Big Apple, which is season 8, episode 1. I like this one. You know, I don't even know why. I think it's because it's the whole concept of new beginning. So in this one, Jessica moves to New York because she's taken a residency where she is a professor at a local New York college. And so this episode is all about her moving into her apartment, you know, setting up with her school and everything like that. So something happens, I believe, either in her building or in her old apartment. And of course, she kind of gets swept into that because where she is currently located, some crazy stuff has happened, and now she's trying to figure it out because clearly she doesn't want to be disturbed living in this new place in New York. And I love it because it's a change of scenery. As much as I love Cabot Cove, the New York episodes are also fun because, again, it's like a next chapter in Jess's life, and you kind of get to see her in a different, more urban setting. And New York in the 90s was just, you had to be there. And so I guess technically you could be there if you watch this episode, which again, I really enjoy. So all that said, we are planning a live show just to kind of chat casually all things Murder, She Wrote. We haven't nailed down the details for that yet, but keep an eye out on our Instagram pages for all of those details. Again, you've got a couple of weeks to kind of get your bingo board and all of your Murder, She Wrote picks ready. Again, June 19th through the 25th, Tiff, Storm, and I will be co-hosting the Murder, She Wrote Readathon. I'm super excited. Leave a comment if you plan to join. Even if you don't read any of the books and you just want to follow along, do that. It's all good. Anybody who I can kind of bring into the Murder, She Wrote fold, I'm all for it. So that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you join us. And in the meantime, happy reading, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye!